All right, let's get you up to speed. President Trump is on his way, as I speak, just minutes away from the U.S.-Mexico border. He just wrapped up a roundtable at the U.S. border station in McAllen, Texas. Law enforcement officials displaying money, weapons, drugs captured, and shared stories of life and death on the border. It's a crisis, says the president. It's a manufactured crisis, says the Democrats. Well, this government shutdown, it might just be the longest ever. We are now in day 20. And if it continues beyond tomorrow, that's a record, folks. Joining us now from two border states, our Republican Congresswoman from Arizona, Debbie Lesko, and California Democratic Congressman John Garamendi. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And it's very timely today. So I'm going to start with you, Congressman Garamendi. I think we've had 3 recent meetings at the White House. Democrats have sat down, tried to compromise with Republicans. No deal is in sight. What is the exit strategy?
I think the first thing we need to do is to get nearly all of the government operations back up and operating. We intend to do that on the Democratic side. We moved legislation last week, the very first day of this Congress, and yesterday and a day and tomorrow we'll also move legislation over to the Senate that would restart all of the government agencies except one, which would be the Department of Homeland Security, in which this border issue revolves around that particular department. So we can get everybody going, up and going, and then we can try to figure out how to deal with this wall business.
Representative Lesko, do you expect the president to declare a national emergency at the border to get the wall built? Do you expect him to do that, and should he do that?
You know, I hope it doesn't come to that. I really hope that the Democrats will come to the negotiating table with a serious counteroffer. So far, I believe Republicans have said and have been willing to compromise. I supported a good immigration bill that would have not only funded border security, but also would have allowed DACA recipients to stay in the country legally. Not one single Democrat voted for it. We also, on December 20th, the Republican House members passed a bill that would have kept the government open. Again, not one single Democrat voted for it. And recently, when President Trump had the negotiations with the Democrats, he asked Nancy Pelosi, okay, if we pass these other funding bills, will you then allow border security funding for a border fence? And she said no.
Now, the president actually didn't say that. What the president actually said was, will you then support my wall? And she said no. The Democrats have been clearly in support of border security, many different kinds of border security. Let me give you one that would push that border wall 1,500 miles out to sea, and that is fund the Coast Guard so they can interdict those drugs out there on the oceans in the Caribbean and the Pacific.
You know, if the Democrats say that they're for border security, I really think they're talking the talk but not walking the walk.
That's just not true, Debbie.
And the reason that I say that is because our Border Patrol agents and officials have clearly spelled out a plan on what they think is needed, and part of that is a border fence. I went down to the border in Arizona, and I met with Customs and Border Patrol officials and the agents. I asked them straight out, do we need a border fence? They said yes.
And overwhelmingly less. Griff Jenkins of Fox News is reporting that since New Year's, there have been over 2,000 apprehensions at the border. So this is a problem, Congressman. My question to you is, what deal would you vote for to reopen the government and get us border security and get us a structure?
I was just very, very clear a moment ago, and that is there is no reason to hold the entire government operations, from the national parks to Department of Agriculture to food safety, all those. You don't need to hold those hostage to deal with the issue of border security. The Democrats have clearly, over the last years, voted for border security, including fences. Let's be very clear. The president says he wants $5.7 billion for some sort of a wall or fence without specifying where it's going to be built, where it's going to cost, what exactly its purpose will be, and how it will be effective in stopping people from coming in. I've been to McAllen, Texas, and at that area, yes, there are places where there is a need for the fence. Fine. What we need to do here is to reopen government, give time to finish these negotiations. A wall, the president, where you want to put the wall, Mr. President? What's it going to cost per mile?
Actually, the plan is very clear. It says how many miles and where it will be built. That came
has
right
never
from
been presented to Congress.
Oh, it certainly has, and the president has given it to me. He's given it to Democrats. He's given it to Democrat leaders.
He sent a letter that was vague and said 200 miles of fence, not specifying where.
No, it's very specific. In fact, 27 miles is going to be built in Yuma, Arizona, in my state.
That leaves about 170 miles. In any case, the reality is here we should never appropriate money until we know precisely where it's going to be spent, to what effect, and to what purpose.
We do know.
But the rest of it is, why not open up the rest of government? Why not leave this issue for, as we've been negotiating for months, until mid-February, where we can have the next month to figure out how we're going to resolve this issue. Open up the government. Don't hold the entire nation as a hostage.
You would support a structure at the southern border then?
We have supported structures at the border. We have supported fences. Those fences were built with Democratic support. They need to be updated in many places. They need to be augmented in places. We understand that. But what we're saying here is, give us a specific plan, but do not hold this entire nation hostage for this political promise that was made during the campaign. And by the way, the American taxpayers are paying for this, not Mexico.
I really do hope we can open back up the government. That's what both of us want.
Support the bill this afternoon.
Democrats come to the table.
I think most of the country wants that to happen as well. I do hope we can come to terms here and reach some sort of deal.